All right. Hello, families.
Hello there.
How are you? So we have a question. We printed it out, so I'll do our best. Should we read the whole thing or just the question? Well, we want to say whoever, we'll leave you anonymous. Thank you for saying you listen to these. So if these are helpful, please let us know and send in questions and so forth, and feel free to share if, I don't know, when we post them in here straight for you, you may not be able to share them. But here's a question. My husband and I love craft beers, and he's making a wine right now at home. And while we don't drink around our son or mention it, we're wondering if he moves back to town, although he won't be living with us, does that mean we have to stop drinking for his sobriety or just not to drink around him? It seems strange to pretend that we have given up drinking. I also asked because when we were visiting, my dad drank right in front of him, and he didn't say anything, but I was nervous since he's still new to recovery. I thought other parents might have the same question. I don't want to treat him differently than any others, but I also don't want to hurt his sobriety.
Great question.
Indeed.
What are your initial thoughts on that?
My initial thoughts are that it's great that you're considering it, that you're being aware, you have some sensory acuity, and it's also fantastic that right now, early in recovery, you're not necessarily drinking in front of him. That's probably fine. That's a great decision. If you believe in it. And at some point, he's going to be exposed to alcohol. So what are you going to do? Be codependent? Is that a good answer?
Well, you're drinking or not drinking. I mean, early in recovery, Doug's right. Early, very, very early in recovery, we always explain the green beans and ice cream analogy, right? That they're like a 10-year-old kid who hasn't eaten all day.
Right.
And they're, in front of them is green beans or ice cream, and they want to have green beans, and green beans are the meetings and the doing whatever they need to stay sober, but then they see their drug of choice in front of them, and it does make it very hard for them they have those, the cravings just happen,
which is normal
when they're exposed to the stimulus. And
totally
that's totally normal. It also isn't what makes somebody drink. Right. Being exposed to stimulus doesn't necessarily make somebody drink. Your loved one is going to be exposed to the stimulus all the time, and
life.
And that's part of life. And so I would say I would just piggyback on what you said earlier.
You're going to dovetail.
I'm going to piggyback. Inside joke. There was a video about making fun of conference meetings where people say things like, I'm going to piggyback on what you said. Anyway, I am, because I think really what it comes down to is doing what you believe in. So everybody's going to be different, there. But so don't do what you think will keep somebody sober. Do what you believe in instead. So
because the truth is, if he or she is working their recovery, that's what they're going to be doing, working their recovery.
That's right. And you could go your whole life and not drink a drop of alcohol in front of somebody or have any alcohol in the home around them, and they still could relapse. And so again, you're trying to manage the addiction, and we want you to get out of trying to manage the addiction and into doing what you believe in. Now, if it were me, and if my father were still here, you know that he wrestled with addiction. If he were still here and he was still in recovery, we would not have alcohol around him. I don't believe in that. I wouldn't want that for him. Mm-hmm. Me not drinking anyway, it's irrelevant, but I would just, if he were staying at my house, I would just do what I believed in. Which is not have any alcohol around. If I drank, if I was a drinker, I probably also wouldn't end up drinking around my dad. And that's just because that's something I personally, Heidi, believe in, right? Just for the same reason that if I knew somebody who was managing their weight and they had a gastric bypass, I wouldn't sit down to a 4-course meal of desserts in front of them, because I would find that kind of rude. But that's me. So,
right.
But could I be a little codependent there? Probably,
but again,
but that's
if you
how
believe
I
in it
love.
and you feel good
that's
about
how
it.
I love.
If it feels good and you feel strong about it and you're like, okay, this is the right thing, then do it.
In that situation, that would be the most loving thing I could think to do. It's not that much effort to not have a cocktail.
Right.
Unless you're in addiction yourself, and that's a huge effort. But then again, there are other people who believe very differently, and it's not an issue for them. Now, I can use in my own life, I wouldn't want for 1 second for somebody to not drink around me. or to think they couldn't drink around me because I'm not affected by alcohol. I'm not green beans and ice cream. I'm all green beans these days and don't care for the ice cream anymore. It doesn't entice me anymore. In fact, to me, that ice cream looks like cyanide or poison. And so I wouldn't want somebody to curtail their life. I have lots of friends, lots of family who drink in front of me all the time. And I don't take offense to it. And I wouldn't want them to change their lifestyle. So again, it's not about keeping somebody sober. It's finding what you believe in and then practicing what it is that you believe in from a place of your heart versus your mind and what you think is going to keep somebody well.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was, I mean, basically
both sides of the.
Yeah, the simple answer is that whether you drink or not is not going to make someone relapse.
Right.
So if you want to take that feeling off the table,
Sure.
then choose not to drink in front of them, and then
Right.
you never have to worry about if that happened, because if someone
Right.
relapses, it has nothing to do with what they were exposed to. It has everything to do with, are they working their recovery?
Their coping mechanisms
Right.
when they're exposed, because
Right.
they will be exposed. Anyway, hope that's helpful.
Yeah,
Let
thank
us
you.
know.
Yes, keep them coming.
Yeah, we love more questions. We'd love to do Q&A, so we'll print it down. We can keep you anonymous. That's fine. But until another video, take excellent care of yourself.
Excellent. We love you for who you are and who you aren't.
Bye.
Bye now.